an exceptionally good week. Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. It's time for that weekly mod collection demo shop update. I was pretty impressed, and I hope you guys will be too. Look at this SG Custom. We saw something kind of similar to this about 2 or 3 weeks ago, a B-stock version of Eddie's Guitar's exclusive SG Custom figure top in Nordic Blue. Typically, these are flamey. They've got the abalone block inlay running up and down the neck with matching headstock veneer. But this time it was changed up being quilty, which is just fantastic. It looks great with this color. You still have gold hardware everywhere else, but if abalone's not your style, they went back to traditional mother of pearl but gave it Super 400 inlays, this time to make it look a little bit more fancy. The fun does not end there. Our headstock was also converted back to mother of pearl, but check out the back. This is a complete maple body SG. However, judging by these photos, it looks like they made it up out of 4 pieces because you'll have 2 pieces for the back, 2 pieces for the top. Can you get away with just having 2 straight up maple pieces? Yes, but what gives me the impression these are different pieces is that's significantly different quilting on the back. So a 4-piece bodied SG in a roundabout way sandwiched together, that's kind of funny. I like that. But for me, the it factor was this. Very similar to the Shark Ormsby guitar that we had documented, Gibson gave their natural finished 5-piece maple neck a little bit of an extra treatment. So you've got more of an aqua blue for the body, then you've got a really deep blue, and then it lightens up into almost a green, then it's almost a lime greenish yellow, you get a little bit orange, but then eventually, instead of a finish, you're actually just seeing the natural maple color. That's awesome. I love it. But Gibson knows what they have here. It's got a proud price tag of $8,000. So it's not going to be for everyone, but it's nice. And hey, would you look at that? I'm impressed. They actually disclosed the 4-piece quilt maple body. But next we have a 57 custom shop reissue Les Paul special. They called it Winter Impressions. I think it looks a little bit more like abstract art, but at the same time, I like it. We've got black plastics matching the black paint within the body, letting that really pop out here. But you can see whatever you want in here. Like I see maybe a mountain range, and then this is like an Arctic tundra area. Let me know what you see down in the comments. But then you get to the headstock and they pretty well just left it alone. Looks like they might have gave it a very light golden border, but with a crazy top, they opted to leave the back black as well as the edges. However, if you come down here, it's not just regular ebony, it's ebony magic. So you've got like a very slight sparkle in it. I like it, I just wish it was on a different guitar because $4,600 is a bit expensive for a custom shop special. Had they done that to a USA standard and it'd be like $35, it probably would have sold quicker. But speaking of that, here's a 50 standard that they did metal blueberry burst. That's quite the shocking finish. A little bit of a dark border, black plastics, but nice strong cobalt blue color. With a black back, but hey, check out that neck. Blue stinger with a outlining gold stinger, but a regular headstock. They're really laying into the blues this week, but at least we have a break from the spooky stuff, even if it does sell well, but it's Jade metallic on a Les Paul custom. I always love blue finished Les Paul customs because it pops the blue out of the inlays, but no fancy stinger or anything like that, just blue gloss refinish. It reminds me of when the mod collection first started. This was $4,500, $500 off and a custom color. If it's not sold, I'll be surprised. Yeah, just like that. Now we've got a purple SG standard. So this one's kind of cool because it's based on the CME exclusive 70s style SG. I would love to see Gibson do a straight up reissue of 70s style SGs. Do like the unbound ebony version. That way CME still has this exclusive version to themselves, but those are offered in a whole bunch of really cool colors for CME. But then you've got this mod collection exclusive purple. It appears to be a satin finish, and they did it up on the front and back. And they priced it at $26, which if I remember correctly, that's like a $600 premium. But they gave it 70s tribute pickups rather than the T-types. Well, this one's a bit more festive. Candy Berry Burst. It's $3,500, it's a 50 standard. It reminds me of that special that we had documented once that has the color shifting effect. So it's gonna go from this magenta color to more of a purple. That's something you'd just have to appreciate in person. But I like the fretboard on that one. And then when you flip over to the back, you've still got the same color changing pearlescent effect of the finish on the body and the neck. And then they gave you a giant old white stinger. I'd like to see this, but not in red and purple shifting. I'd like to see a blue-green one that does that. It's still available at the time of recording. Well, speaking of blues, here we go back to blue, metallic Pelham Sparkle. It's a $335, all blued out. It's looking pretty nice, but with the added bonus of a matching headstock and blacked out tuner tips. And that is a complete gloss refinish. And here's a Zesty green 50 standard. Gave you gold hardware, custom shop knobs that are aged. Flipped your neck pickup around. Interesting pickup combination, 490R neck with a 500T in the bridge. Gave you a Les Paul Customs pick guard. Interesting choice. Red back and sides. It's a missed opportunity for crisp white binding. Then this is a Custom Shop 57 reissue done up in a nice red color. They called it Funky Amber. Gives you kind of Lzzy vibes. They have like a really dark red molasses color on the back. We have to adjust the contrast for you to be able to see it. I like it. It's like coal Christmas. That's what I would have called that one. But hey, speaking of coal, Hot Coal Burst. Really cool name, but it looks like a regular bursted 50 standard. But they gave it a really light singed edge and seemingly left everything else alone. But now we'll take a step into the mod collection of the European side of things. They're a bit more festive over there. We've got Green Sleeves Burst. So this looks familiar to a guitar we documented like a year or two ago that I called the Phantom Widow. I mean, it's almost the exact same color, except for this one appears to have like a golden color shifting effect to it. Or maybe it started life as a gold burst before they sprayed it over in the teal. In this photo angle, you can really see what we're talking about, how that gold glistens through it. So it's not the exact same as the Phantom, but here's a look at the headstock. Once again, doing the same thing. In most angles, it would look like this. And then the back is also matching. That's really cool. I'm glad the EU is finally getting their own exclusive stuff. Because next we have Blue Blush Burst. It's a 50 standard P90. Technically, this is the neon color if we're borrowing it from the Gibson Vegas series. Just a bit of blue with some pink and the black. It works okay. But we've got the regular headstock with the natural back. And instead of Merry and Bright, we've got Fast and Bright. It's not my favorite one we've ever seen, but it's unique. It's different. It looks like ghouls' hands coming after you. But I think it's supposed to have something to do with racing. Oh, okay. That's interesting. Black back and headstock, but they left just the center portions of the neck bare with 2 stingers. That's actually really cool. And they decided to black out the headstock and our nut. And then as far as the European side of the demo shops, they had some new stuff. Nothing really caught my attention. However, if I had to pick 2, there was this LOO. I just thought that top had some interesting wood grain. And of course, a really light fretboard to complement that. And then the back's got some beauty. And then this 64 reissue SG. They don't call it aged in the title, but as you flip through all these photos, it slowly becomes more and more apparent that this is like a really light Murphy Lab aging. I actually kind of like how that looks, especially in this neck area. So I thought I would go ahead and share the spotlight on this one for a little bit, if that's what you're going for. However, I'm wondering, was it intentional? Or did this just happen in transit? But the Netherlands shop then had a whole bunch of Epiphones drop. I was shocked to see an Epiphone Lzzy Hale. Shame on you guys. That's not how you spell it. Get rid of that I. There we go. Fixed. Original Gibson version of this guitar is like early 2010s. It's one of the coolest Explorers that was ever made. But if I'm remembering correctly, it's like around 2018 they decided to do an Epiphone version. So this is a pretty old guitar. Yeah, this one dates to 2019. What's wrong with it is the pickguard has cracks. Now, it's easy enough to replace the pickguard, so I'm not surprised this thing sold quickly because, as far as I'm aware, they're out of production. But this was very common to see. The white paint gets over the binding and it looks ugly in some areas. Then I was shocked to see this weird thing, an Epiphone Olympic Master Built Honeyburst. I played one of these at Sweetwater once, like from the Master Built series. It was surprisingly good. They've got these interesting headstocks. And then they also had the Broadway, which is something you don't see every day. Almost kind of looks like a Gibson L5 style guitar. But now, my friends, I was so upset when I checked the Gibson demo shop. So last week I told you they were stocking up for something. They did. They had a flash sale for 2 days where I think it was like between 15 and 20% off, but then they ended it. But keep your eye out on December 25th. I bet the demo shop will participate in the reverb sales and you'll see something very similar again. But no, in their sold inventory, I saw this Les Paul Tribute in Satin Honeyburst, and it was $1,000. So I was thinking, why did this sell? Usually these things sit around a little bit in the demo shop. It's not particularly fantastic wood grain, but here's the thing. I've been telling you guys for like the past 2 years that these Les Paul Tributes have maple necks. Occasionally you can get lucky. And I missed it. Come on. I would have loved to have documented this piece. I probably just would have ended up keeping it because that is what we're talking about. It's not specced out with a one-piece figured maple neck. It just happened. And then somebody got it for $1,000. It's such a great example, because I have not reviewed one of these things yet. But I honestly think I would really enjoy this model. But sadly, I haven't been checking as much as I should have been. But that's why you gotta look. You never know when it's gonna show up. Speaking of interesting wood grain, here's a Les Paul Studio Dark wine red finish. These are not spec'd out with flame tops unless they're premium pluses, but this one just happens to have a really nice top. So as far as brand new studios go, I don't think they're the best value in the world, but that one, for having a 2-year playability warranty, doesn't seem too bad. This Les Paul Standard 50s has a very unique top. I kind of like the modifications they made to it with the red pickguard, but this maple, I don't know exactly what it's doing, but it's got flame and like something else going in there. I bet that one would be pretty unique in person, and the back matches incredibly well. Wow, look at that neck. Really open pores grain. Looks like a porcupine. Then we just talked about these a couple of days ago, the satin faded Maestro Vibrola SG. I've got it on my website, $150 cheaper than this one if anybody's interested. And then we also have this 80s Explorer. That's another model that I think they maybe need to discontinue or change the specs up a little bit and bring them back at a different price, because $2,500 just seems so expensive on one of those. But when you can get it out of the demo shop for $18, then it starts to seem like a better deal. I think a similar thing should also happen to the 70s Deluxe. Bring them back with the maple necks. Make them something completely unique. I bet they would sell better. But they also had another one of the 60s figure top dark purple bursts. We documented one of those in the 50s neck variety. This one's got a pretty nice flame top. Very flat flames. We've been seeing more of these Supremes, $800 off. We also had one of the modern figures, which I adore now, $2,200, not bad there. And lastly, a 59 custom shop for $5,600, but I thought it had a rather unique top. Like, it's not complete straight across flames. They've got a little bit of dipping and waving, like a little bit more so here. It's got character to it. Maybe not the prettiest one we've ever seen, but it's nice. All right, Troglodytes, I hope you enjoyed this week's recap. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you tomorrow on the next one. Take care. If you enjoyed tonight's episode, consider subscribing. I post videos like this every day. And you might even enjoy this next one.